y'all, I'm Allie. Welcome to Little Hill Homestead. We are doing a series in 2025 called Back to the Basics. And these are recipes that maybe you buy a commercial product for, or things that basically that you buy a commercial product for, that we're gonna show you how to break down and make your own so that you don't have to continue to purchase boxed items, canned items, containered items, even dairy products from the store like sour cream, butter, things like that. No, we don't have a cow, so that kind of changes some things up, but it's fine, whatever. Not a lot of us do, just saying. So today I'm gonna be showing you guys how we make Hamburger Helper. When I was in college or worked nights and Sean would be home with our kids, he would often make this as a quick and easy meal for the boys. And it's something that we just always have had in our pantry. Well, when they were little, we just bought the box, y'all. Like, it was what it was, but over the years, as we figured out what we wanted to feed our family, we started making our own. A couple of years ago, we figured out, well, we can make this in bulk, and then the kids can make it themselves. Even better. So we keep, these are pint-and-a-half jars. These ones I've been using for years this way. So I write on it what it is so that if you open our pantry, you can tell, this is Hamburger Helper, y'all. And then on the top, I put directions. I used a P-Touch label machine. We got it on Black Friday years ago for really inexpensive. But I wrote the directions on here of exactly how you're gonna make it. So if my kids pull it out, just like a box or a bag or anything that these smart children can figure out how to cook, it's right there. So I'm gonna take my lids off of these. So the way that I do this is I have 6 jars of this that rotate. Or when they were little, I would do 6 jars. And that would get us through about 6 months. We used to do it 1 or 2 times a month. I put the jar, once it's cleaned and stuff, back in the pantry. And I shuffle all of them forward. I pull the front one. Well, when I pull the last one that has pasta in it, I pull out all my jars and I make another big batch of this. We have a couple stragglers left, so I don't need to make all 6. Plus, half of our family has moved out of our house in the last year, so we just don't use it as often. So today I'm gonna show you guys how to make your own Hamburger Helper. Ta-da! Who'd have thunk, right? And you probably have all the ingredients on hand, no joke. So the first thing you need, you have a choice here. I've told you this before. I use this container, but what is in here is not this brand. This is our homemade chicken. It's actually a vegan version of chicken bouillon. So you can do that, or you can do beef bouillon. This also is on our channel, so is this. Our beef bouillon is made with mushroom powder, which has the same savory umami flavor as beef, but it's not beef, it's mushroom. I like to start with the pasta at the bottom and then put my spices on top. I find that they don't stick as badly to the bottom. So in each one of these, we are gonna be putting 2 cups of elbow pasta noodles. We bought a Phillips pasta extruder, and I believe it does have an elbow attachment. I'm not loving that thing. We have like a hand crank pasta machine. We're liking the texture and the overall feel a little bit better for that one. The Phillips, the pasta comes out so thick that it just isn't right. So we're still messing with that. If any of you guys have the Phillips pasta maker, give me some pointers. If you have a base recipe that you use for pasta, let me know. We got one at a thrift store. I think I paid $5 for it. So I threw it in the cart faster than you know what, and I ran out the door. But I just feel like so many people love it and I don't, so maybe it's just a me thing. I don't know. This is the tail end of a box that we used a recipe for recently. So there's one. There's 2. 3, and I'm hoping that, woo! She overdid it, people. She overdid it, y'all. Oh, well. 4. 2 in each. I feel like I figured out at one point that if you do 2 boxes of elbow macaroni and cheese, like there was some math conversion. I just don't make it enough anymore for that. I have done it with the Azure elbow noodles too. Worked perfectly. This is just what I have on hand today. The first thing we're gonna add to each jar. I'm gonna do beef bouillon this time, but again, if you wanna do chicken, do chicken. I might not have enough of our beef, so I might end up with beef and chicken, but you need, whoops, what am I doing with the tablespoon? 2 teaspoons of this going into each one. That's the like loudest clink in the world. I get these new mics. Finally, we got new mics, and I'm like clinking in your ear. We're still getting used to them. It's fine. Oh, goodness gracious. The next thing you need is a tablespoon of cornstarch, arrowroot, whatever your favorite thickener is. We reuse a cornstarch container, but this is actually arrowroot from Azure Standard. If I get two, whatever their smallest bag is, it fits perfectly in this container. So that's what I use. There's nothing, a lot of people say like, what is wrong with cornstarch? That so many people kind of bash it. There's a lot of people with corn allergies, and cornstarch has corn in it. So if that's an issue for you, arrowroot works perfectly. If not, cornstarch, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, it is what it is. Welcome to it. The next thing we need is paprika. We want 1 tablespoon of paprika going in each one. I'm going to try to dump my spices, which is probably going to end badly, but it's fine. 1. Like I told you, I just didn't want to stick the cornstarch down in there. We've got garlic powder and onion powder. We make our own garlic powder and onion powder using fresh vegetables that we dehydrate, especially when it's high garden season and we have a lot of these things or things that are going to start to get old. Maybe you bought like a big batch of onions and you're just not going to get through them. Dehydrate and make your own. I will try to remember to link that below. But the first thing I need is garlic powder, and it is 1.5 teaspoons in each. This, by the way, will last about a year in your pantry. There's not really anything that's going to get funky or start to do funky stuff, so it can last a while. If you get any kind of moisture in these jars, that's when you have a problem, so just avoid getting any moisture in them. Kind of, you know, easy. Did I say what I'm doing? 1.5 teaspoons of granulated or onion powder? I don't know. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing. Mid-thought, the choo-choo left the station, y'all. But you know exactly what I'm talking about because we all do it. We're all human. The next thing we need is salt. This is 1 teaspoon going into each one. If you use a brand name bouillon, they can tend to be a little bit more salty, so you can cut that salt to 1/2 teaspoon if you're worried about it. I do a little bit of sugar. It kind of balances out all the spices and stuff that we've put in here. It's 1 teaspoon. I just use regular old sugar. You can omit this, or you can use a sugar substitute as well. Up to you. You need 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper going in. This is our bourbon black pepper. If you haven't seen that recipe on the channel, we soak whole black peppercorns in bourbon. We dry them out completely. We drain the bourbon off and dry them out completely. And then we grind it up with a spice grinder and we use that as our pepper. It just adds this like extra little oomph. It's not like overpowering bourbon. You may not even know it's bourbon. It just changes the overall peppercorn flavor enough to go, that's something different and delicious. We love that stuff. Let me see. Y'all, that's it. I'm like, did I go down the whole line? So I have these lids. Like I said, I put the directions on the top of them. So let me read you the directions really quick. If I can get the lid on. Like I said, these are 1.5 pint jars. Azure has 1.5 pint jars since Ball stopped making them. And they fit pretty dang perfectly in these jars. If you do not have mason jars or don't want to do it in mason jars, throw in whatever container you want. I don't care. Ziplocs, you name it. Put it in there. It's all the same to me. I won't know. So like I said, I labeled the front of these. The directions on the top, this is what I wrote. And I will, by the way, if you hit more or description or whatever the button is below my big old head, it will drop down. And we always put the recipes in that little box. It should be right up at the top. I don't need you to read all our other stuff first to get there. We're not that type of people. So it'll be right there front and center for you. Screenshot it. I don't know. We're going to be doing other ways for you to get our recipes later this year, hopefully. But for now, this is what we got. On here, I put brown in a pan, a large pan, 1 pound of ground beef. If you don't like ground beef, you can use ground turkey, ground chicken, ground pork, you name it. You can use whatever you want. You drain off the fat, then you add the contents of your jar into the pan with the meat back into the pan. 2 cups of water, 1.5 cups of milk, and 1 tablespoon of ketchup. If you want to add milk powder into this mix and then just up your water, you can do that too. And then, a splash of Worcestershire sauce. That's just what I like to add. You boil it covered for 11 minutes. It'll get nice and thick and bubbly and delicious, and pasta totally cooked through. And then when I take it off of the burner before I serve it, I like to add about 1.5 cups of cheddar cheese. Sprinkle it over that, stir it in, and it just adds this perfect little extra oomph to it. If you want to do like a sharp cheddar, you can do that. If you don't want the intensity of the flavor, go with like a mozzarella. Use what you have in your fridge. Or in my case, I have a lot of cheese in my freezer. Just remember to pull it out and defrost it, and you're set. So that, you guys, is our recipe for homemade hamburger helper. How easy is that, right? Like I said, we just don't do it as much because all of our kids moved out, but it is something that is super easy to make, and it will feed your entire family. We used to do a family of 5 off this little jar. So throw yourself some butter bread, as we say in the South. What is that? The Martin's butter bread. People here love that stuff. We make our own. So throw some rolls with it, throw a tortilla with it. Whatever you do you. That's what we say, you do you. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you guys are new, hit subscribe. We're gonna be doing back to the basics for this entire year. And if there's any commercial product that maybe you currently buy and you don't want to anymore, you wanna be able to make yourself, comment below. Let me know what you wanna see, and I will try to fit it in my mix if I can figure it out. Thanks for watching, guys.